So Deb, I was listening to Darren Hardy this morning, which I know you do too, but it was interesting that he was talking about how many times people feed their animals, like their dogs and pets and things like that, better than we feed ourselves. And I thought that that was such a true statement, a sad but true statement.
I think that's very true. And one of the things he was talking about was this lady her daughter was eating a donut and she was going to give part of the donut to the dog. And she's like, no, flies across the room to stop. You can't feed that to the dog. It's not good for him. And then watch her daughter eat it. And I'm sure without even really thinking about it, we do those things.
Yeah.
Or we feed our children or maybe our grandchildren now better than we feed ourselves. We make sure they have a piece of fruit with a meal or a vegetable, and we don't do it with ourselves. And yet we need to, because we may end up, we talked a little bit about that yesterday, just we may end up caregiving for someone. And it's like on the plane when they tell you to put your oxygen on first and then put the oxygen on, your child or person next to you. It's the same thing. And we're so bad at it. And we just don't care for it. We don't value ourselves enough to feed ourselves nutritious food.
And I think so much of it is just what we're used to. Like you, when you get a pet, you hear, the whole list of do's and don'ts with them. Make sure that they eat this and don't eat that and things like that. And yet, how many of us grew up having donuts? Like it was part of our culture, part of our lifestyle. So then we feed our kids the same way we were fed. And we're just learning so much more about the effects of eating like that over time. I know for us as kids though, like a donut was not something we had very often. Like it was a rare in between. Yeah, it was just rare. As opposed to, they're now around us all the time. We can get a donut anywhere, anytime that we want. So we have to be the ones to really be conscious of those choices.
Right. And I think, again, like you were saying, Melanie, it was an occasional treat. So we don't want to say don't ever have a donut because it's probably not reality. But occasional means like very rare. And I think occasionally sometimes you think, oh, once a week.
Yeah.
Well, probably even that is not great. Or maybe we split the donut with somebody, or maybe we have something good with it. Even if you balance it out with like a handful of nuts, or the sugar doesn't make your sugar go quite so crazy. So maybe that's a small change. You love donuts. You're going to split next one. You're going to split with a friend and maybe add some protein with it, whatever that looks like, or maybe a breakfast and you have an egg with it. So we're not saying don't ever have a donut because that's not life, but yeah, that occasional rare treat. um,
And I liked what you were saying about just maybe making a small change. You
right.
know, again, if you love donuts and you say you're never going to have one, your brain doesn't really, really believe that. But if the next time you see one and you go, oh, well, I'll just have a half of one, or as you say, add something into it that makes it a little healthier. I don't really eat donuts anymore, but for me, what changed was I was allowed to have that sweet after I had a meal. So again, it does blunts the sugar spike a little bit more if we have good food along with it.
Exactly.
So anyway, small changes, and they really add up to just big, small steps add up to big changes in our life. And
Mhm.
anything that we can do to add the good stuff in is helpful. So think about that donut and yourself or your children or your pets if you have them, and if you wouldn't feed it to your pet, would you feed it to yourself or to your kids? Just something to think about.
Mhm. Good point.
All right. Well, have a great day and we will see you again. And remember that we're here. So, if you're having trouble thinking about what those small steps might be or how to even incorporate them, reach out. join the community, and we'll all share our ideas. All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.